Hello everybody, what is up? And today I'll be showing you how to create your own character in Cosmo X for the 1.9.5 version. Now, right now I'm on the Turbowarp desktop website, and as you see here, this is what you will need in order to modify and change the source code or the source file for Cosmo X. Now, as you scroll down, you'll see there's quite a bit of history. And up here on October 9, 2025, there's a new compiler. Okay. Now, unfortunately, because there has been changes with this new compiler, it breaks quite a few things with Cosmo X. So what we need is the 1.14.5 version. Okay. So now remember that 1.14.5 version. Okay. So the quickest way I found is to go to report bugs on GitHub, and then now let's go over here to the code, and let's go over here to the releases. Now that we go down here, let's find the 14.5 version. I think it's going to be right here. There we go. Now when you go here, just click on assets, and you'll just need to install it. Okay, if you're on Linux, you'll probably know how to install it for Linux. And if you know how to install it for Windows, well, it's also here, okay? The best thing I'm going to tell you is you probably are just going to need, I believe, either this install or this install for Windows, okay? So it's up to you to determine which one you need, okay? Now that you install it, you'll be able to open Turbowarp. So let's just load up the project, which I'm going to do in a sec. Okay, so here I am. Now I'm loading up this project. Okay, this project is getting loaded up. Now it's asking a question here. Extension security. Okay, you must have this checked marked. Okay, and you must hit allow. Okay, you have to do the same process for both. You can just leave the mouse there. Okay. Just make sure you keep following with that. Okay, very important step. Okay, if you do not put a check mark or you click deny on any extension, things are going to go really bad. Okay, so here we are with our Turbowarp program, which is a modified Scratch environment. Okay, we have ourselves all our motion blocks, looks, sound. Okay. And typically, when you are on Scratch, this is all you're going to see is my blocks. But oh boy, we are dealing with Turbowarp. And Turbowarp has extensions. And extensions give a lot of power. Okay, so here we have add-ons. This is if you really need to debug anything, the add-on section itself. But once you keep scrolling down, there is a lot of extensions. Okay, My Blocks Plus. I'm not going to explain how that works. Okay. You also have sound expanded, temporary, variables, pretty nice stuff, JSON, and array. Okay, very important. Local storage. You also have additional math. There's also canvas effects, more events, which is actually pretty important. Variable and list, pretty good stuff. More comparisons, again, only really useful for distance checks, as I have found out. Runtime options is pretty necessary to get some of the cool effects going. Dictionaries, that might not be really that much useful. Display text version 2, pretty nice. Okay. You also have yourself stretch. Okay. So unfortunately in Scratch, you're not actually able to, horizontally flip a texture without using rotation. Okay, but here you don't have to use rotation for that. You can now just use stretch. So this is a very nice nice extension. Gamepad is what allows for gamepad support, and honestly is a very cool extension. Hypersense is nice. Okay, although I will be honest with you, I haven't really used this one that much at all, okay? Pen, very, very nice, okay? Hypersense version 2 is just a copy of Hypersense, but I can't remove it. Extra controls. Very good stuff. Okay. This one is going to be necessary for rendering and stuff if you really like to mess with shaders. Functions. Alright. Sorry, this is the same extension. Oops. Pen plus version 7. Okay. Really good extension. It's what also gets shaders running in this game. Okay. And I think that's going to be the end of it here. Nope. Controls. Okay. This very niche stuff allows you to show the green flag that's right here. Hide it. I mean, you could even, I guess, soft lock people and never stop the game if you really need to. And custom styles. This is for, I guess this was to make variable monitors look nicer and stuff like that. L frames, this is what displays websites inside of the game itself, which is actually used for the credits page. And font manager. Okay, font manager allows you to download and add fonts, although it's pretty finicky, so just be careful with this one. And that's pretty much all the different blocks you have. If you want to take the time to familiarize yourself with them, you can, but it's not necessary. So now that we have ourselves our environment, let's just go ahead and click this green flag. This is how you start it. Okay, this is how you start your project. Also, it's okay to press allow. Okay, I promise you it's not a virus. Okay, this is from the teamcosmo.org website. Okay, so hit allow. Okay, now the project starts. Okay, if you click the green flag again, you'll notice that the logo came up, and this time it didn't ask you that. That's because you already said yes. Now let's go ahead and stop that program, and it's on the screen now. Okay. Now, anytime you do any sort of edit, this button up here will appear. Now, this doesn't look like a button at first, but this is just saying for you to save the project. There is an autosave feature, but I wouldn't rely on it because the autosave feature breaks when you involve extensions, which this project has about 10 extensions. So I would seriously try to not rely on emergency saves. Anytime you close out of this early without saving and you try to get it back, it's not going to work. Okay, so you have to be very, very careful, okay? Anytime you do any major upgrades to extensions, or I don't know, you do something very, very huge to the game, always back up your original version, okay? Always save as, so that way you make a copy. Because if you do not do this and something breaks, any progress you have done is gone. Okay, even your emergency backups will not save you. Okay, I'm telling you this warning now. Okay, please listen to it. So yes, this button here allows you to save. Okay, I would click on this often. Okay, but remember, like I said, if you make big, and I mean super big changes with extensions and such, please use save as. Okay, leave yourself a copy, right? So yeah, I would click this button often. Okay, don't just assume that it will, save for you. Okay. Now, let's go take a look around here. Here is a list, or I guess a grid, of all the sprites. Okay. So here we have Cosmo, we have Tails, we have Knuckles, Sonic, all the way down to all of our characters. Okay. We even have other things, for example, char sprites. Okay. Moving background, border rocks, borders, hazards, invincible hazards, background particles, and basically everything that gets this game functional. See? So, if you look around here, this is the coding environment right here. This shows you all your code. Okay. Gained heart here is a custom block. I know I'm overwhelming you a bit right now, but just to tell you, this is kind of, this right here is like jumping into a swimming pool without knowing how to swim, okay? I bet even programmers will probably look at this and be like, wow, there's kind of a bit already going on. And you're right, there is quite a bit going on. And why in the world are there white blocks? Okay, if you're a Scratch user, you'll probably see these blocks and be like, why are there these light gray blocks, right? These beige blocks. Sorry. And there's a lot of code that gets all these characters running. Okay, Cosmo has probably the most code, and that's because she was the first character. And I also want Cosmo to be the one that has all the important code that is necessary for the other characters, okay? So I'm just going to take a peek through here. I'm not going to really explain much of how to, add Lucas yet. I'm just going through previews, okay? Now, I'm going to tell you this. Char sprites, if you click on this, right, so the way you want to see the code for each sprite, right, because this is a grid of sprites here, you just click on it. But I'm going to tell you right now, Char Sprites has so much code in it, you're going to probably be waiting about 4 to 5 seconds. So I clicked on it, and I'm still counting in my head. That was 6 seconds to open this up. Why does it take so long to open this? Is because this is what's responsible for showing the characters in the game. Okay? So let me break Cosmo real quick. Let me remove this. Oh, and Cosmo's gone. See? So this custom block is responsible for Cosmo's rendering, as I'm going to call it, for her to show up. Okay? So if you're not very careful, okay, you might end up breaking something. So again, if you're doing something massive, always just do a backup in case. Alright. So let me stop the thing again. Now let's go over here, and you'll notice there's also tabs. Okay, at the top left. Right now we're in the code tab, so it's showing us the code. Now let's press on costumes, and you're gonna see that this also took a bit to open. Now the way that this game renders characters is parts. Okay, it chunks the characters. Okay, so here we have Cosmo Head, we have Cosmo Hurt, we have the hair, we have Amulet, we have the arms, okay? This is just kind of showing you that, yes, there is a lot to making a new character. Okay, you have a bunch of different artworks, different images, different vectors, whatever you want to call them, that you will need to provide for your character. So, as you can see, there's a lot you're going to have to provide for your character, and each costume, well, of course, has its own separate sprites. Now, as you keep scrolling down, you'll see that now we find Tails right here. Okay, this is Tails' sprite. We also have Tails' costume. We also have a different costume for his hair. Okay, we can go all the way down. We can find even all the way to Vanilla, who has been chunked into several different pieces. Okay, this is Vanilla right here. Yep. And then we even have our hats. The in-game hats all are also here. Okay. Why is this all important? Char Sprites is where you're going to be doing a lot of the work into getting your characters to come to life. Okay. So Char Sprites is very important. Now, the only important thing with Char Sprites is this. Is it provides sounds. Now, do these sounds actually play? I have no idea. Okay. Now let's go to variables. Okay, if you see this variables tab open, it shows you a lot of variables. Okay, but I would recommend that you please try not to use the variables tab unless you exactly know what you're doing. Okay, please do not change character properties unless I tell you to. Do not change anything that looks very important. Okay, if you do that, this game will probably break and I cannot help you. Okay, so just be very careful with what you change with variables. Okay, this is more of a programmer thing. And then now let's go back to code. And I think that's about 7 seconds now. Nope, 8. No, oh my gosh. Okay, that was 10 seconds. Now, something that will help you to find your character code is using this search bar will help you find what you need. Okay, so if we want to find, for example, Cosmo, well, guess what? It's right here. Okay, you can just see where the block's at. Okay, now don't do anything yet, okay? But we will need to mess with quite a bit of code in order to get our characters running, okay? But this is pretty much the general introduction to adding new characters. This is all very important, okay? This is all Sonic's code right here. There's a bunch of stuff, and I'm just scrolling through and looking through all of it. And oh boy, this is a lot of code. But don't worry, a lot of it is broken up into pieces. Anyways, that will pretty much be it for the introduction, and I thank you for watching. Alright, I'll see you in the next video.